welcome to Season 18 of the 5-Minute Biographies podcast from 5minutebiographies.com, where each week we tell you interesting things about interesting people in about 5 minutes. If you enjoy the show and would like to support us, why not consider buying us a coffee? Head on over to 5minutebiographies.com/coffee to see how. This is Episode 5. Henry Ford. Henry Ford, the pioneering American industrialist who revolutionized the automobile industry and transformed manufacturing, was born on the 30th of July, 1863, in Springwells Township, Michigan, United States. The eldest of 6 children, he was born to William Ford, an immigrant from Ireland, and Mary Litogot. Raised on his family's farm, young Henry displayed an early fascination with mechanics and machinery. As a child, he took apart watches and clocks to understand their inner workings, marking the beginning of his lifelong passion for engineering and innovation. Ford's upbringing was characterized by the rural simplicity of farm life, but he had little interest in following his father's footsteps as a farmer. Instead, his fascination with mechanics and machines steered him towards a different path. At the age of 16, Ford left the family farm and moved to Detroit to work as an apprentice machinist, first with James F. Flower and Brothers, and later with the Detroit Dry Dock Company. These early years in Detroit exposed Ford to the world of machinery and manufacturing, laying the groundwork for his future career. In 1888, Ford married Clara Bryant, with whom he would remain for the rest of his life. Clara provided steady support throughout his career, even during the difficult periods when Ford's ambitions seemed out of reach. The couple had one child, Edsel Ford, born in 1893. While Ford initially returned to farming to support his family, his passion for engineering remained undiminished, and he continued to work on machines and engines in his spare time. It was during this period that Ford began experimenting with the internal combustion engine, an invention that would eventually change the world. Ford's breakthrough came in 1896 when he completed his first automobile, the quadricycle, a 4-wheeled vehicle powered by a simple gasoline engine. This rudimentary car was a remarkable achievement and gave Ford the confidence to pursue his vision of mass-producing affordable automobiles. He founded the Detroit Automobile Company in 1899, but the venture quickly failed due to the high cost of production and low-quality vehicles. Despite this setback, Ford's resolve only strengthened, and he began refining his designs and developing his ideas on efficiency and affordability. In 1903, Ford founded the Ford Motor Company, and it was here that his vision truly began to take shape. His goal was to create a reliable, affordable car that could be mass-produced using standardized parts and assembly line techniques. Ford believed that cars should be accessible to the average person, not just the wealthy elite. This vision culminated in the introduction of the Model T in 1908, a car that would revolutionize transportation and society. The Model T was affordable, durable, and easy to operate, making it immensely popular with the public. It was priced at around $850 when it was first introduced, a fraction of the cost of other automobiles at the time. Ford's insistence on lowering production costs while maintaining quality allowed him to reduce the price of the Model T over time, making it accessible to an even wider audience. By 1925, the price had dropped to less than $300, making car ownership a possibility for millions of Americans. Ford's greatest innovation, however, was not just the car itself, but the way it was produced. In 1913, he introduced the moving assembly line at his Highland Park plant in Michigan, a method that revolutionized manufacturing. By dividing the production process into small, repeatable tasks, Ford was able to drastically increase efficiency and output. The assembly line reduced the time it took to produce a car from more than 12 hours to just 90 minutes. This innovation not only made Ford's cars more affordable, but also reshaped industrial manufacturing across the world, influencing industries far beyond automobiles. Ford's introduction of the assembly line also had significant social implications. In 1914, he made the groundbreaking decision to pay his workers a wage of $5 per day, more than double the average wage for factory workers at the time. This move, known as the $5 day, was intended to reduce turnover and attract the best workers. But it also allowed Ford's employees to afford the cars they were building. By paying higher wages, Ford effectively created a new class of consumers, contributing to the rise of the middle class and fueling economic growth. Ford's approach to business was not without controversy. He was an outspoken critic of labor unions and clashed with workers who sought to organize. His attempts to maintain control over his company led to tensions, and his strong anti-union stance resulted in violent clashes. Most notably, the Battle of the Overpass in 1937, when union organizers were beaten by Ford's security forces. Ford's complicated relationship with labor would remain a contentious aspect of his legacy. Ford was also known for his controversial views outside the world of manufacturing. In the 1920s, he published anti-Semitic articles in his newspaper, the Dearborn Independent, promoting conspiracy theories about Jewish influence. These views tarnished his reputation, and although he later apologized, the damage to his public image was significant. Despite these controversies, Ford's contributions to industry and society remain monumental. The Ford Motor Company continued to thrive under his leadership, producing innovative cars and expanding globally. His son, Edsel, played a key role in modernizing the company's design and management, though the father-son relationship was often strained by Ford's autocratic leadership style. In his later years, Ford's health began to decline, and he gradually stepped back from the day-to-day operations of his company. Edsel's untimely death in 1943 from stomach cancer was a devastating blow to Ford, who briefly returned to manage the company before turning control over to his grandson, Henry Ford II, in 1945. Henry Ford died on the 7th of April 1947 at the age of 83 in Fair Lane, his estate in Dearborn, Michigan. His death marked the end of an era in American industrial history, but his legacy continued through the Ford Motor Company and the innovations he brought to the world. Ford was buried in the Ford Cemetery in Detroit, Michigan. Henry Ford's impact on the world extended far beyond the automobile industry. His pioneering use of the assembly line revolutionized manufacturing, and his vision of making cars affordable to the average person transformed transportation and society. His ideas about efficiency, innovation, and worker wages helped shape modern industrial practices, while his Model T car became a symbol of the American dream. Ford's complex legacy, marked by both groundbreaking achievements and significant controversies, continues to influence the world of business and industry to this day. I hope you enjoyed that episode of 5-Minute Biographies from 5minutebiographies.com. If you did, why not subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes, and leave us a review while you're there. Also, why not consider our other 5-minute podcasts? 5-Minute History, 5-Minute Murder, 5-Minute Mysteries, and 5-Minute Warfare. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next week.